Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Katie. I think a lot of us would like to be posted on when it's going to be heard, and some of us might even want to be there.
In this case, there's one. This is like, in all honesty, this is one of the most important cases that's ever been heard in Canada, other than the Oaks test and there's some others. It's a big one.
Okay, well, we'll all be watching. For our next session, we have Sophia Vankelwala, Communication Counsel with LAWPRO, and I have some history with Sophia. A few years ago, just before our AGM at the Sudbury District Law Association, the government rudely appointed our planned speaker. And at that point, Sophia stepped in and got us a wonderful speaker, and everyone really enjoyed the presentation that she set up. So I'm sure we will enjoy this one as well.
I'm really short. I'm going to have to really adjust this, even with heels. Okay. So on your agenda, you'll see it's Dan Pennington, the CEO of LawPro, that's supposed to be here. Unfortunately, at the last minute, he was unable to make it, so he sends his apologies. I will do my best job in the next 30 minutes to fill his big shoes. I'm here with Leanne Fasciano, who's also Communications Counsel. She was Claims Counsel previously. Leanne, if you want to say hi. Leanne and I came in on Tuesday, and we were at my old stomping ground at the University of Ottawa Faculty of Law. And we presented to a bunch of students Tuesday evening and all of yesterday. There were a lot of classes. I can't remember who we presented to. But we started with the question, do you know what the Law Society is? Most of the students, they're not kids, sorry. Students, seem like kids because my kids are teenagers. The students, most of them put up their hand. They know what the Law Society is. A few didn't. That was a little concerning. And then we asked, do you know what LawPro is? And maybe one or two said they don't know. And I was like, okay, no problem. So then we started talking about errors and omissions and negligence and claims. And you can see they're starting to connect the dots in their head of, oh crap, we need to know the law, think critically, apply the law, and we have to worry about being sued for thousands of dollars. So I think, Katie gave us some, I don't know where she left, she gave us some goosebumps. I'm here to give you more goosebumps, I'm kidding, but we definitely gave the law students some goosebumps yesterday. So this is Dan's deck, so bear with me as I try to go through his deck. I'm going to talk about claim trends, what happens when we report a claim, Title Plus, 100% Canadian owned, current claim concerns, some Practice Pro updates, some resource updates, and then if there's time for questions, probably not, but I will be here for the rest of the day along with Leanne and tomorrow, so come find us. So in 2024, there were 3,758 claims, new claims, 3,758. Now, 2025 is not over, so obviously I don't have a current number, but I'm sure Dan will be here next year, or not maybe here, but at the plenary, giving updated numbers. So why do lawyers make mistakes? And this was our discussion yesterday at the law school. Why do lawyers make mistakes? And most people think it has to be because of error of law, right? That's what we go to law school for. For 3 years, we learn about the law. But it's not. It's the human skills. It's the soft skills. It's communication. or rather poor communication. Inadequate investigation, which could be technical, like not doing enough due diligence, but a lot of the inadequate investigation claims are because of communication, not asking more questions, not digging deep enough, not reading between the lines. And then time management, which I think is also a soft skill, being able to calendar properly, respond to the calendar. And then eventually we get to area of law somewhere. So by area of law, you'll see that litigation and real estate are always in competition. And that's not a good thing, but it is what it is. But real estate surpassed litigation for most number of claims. We'll talk about a little bit about why in a bit. Actually, I have some more information. So the cost of litigation claims increased, but the total number of litigation claims decreased. And while the cost of real estate claims decreased, the number of real estate claims increased. All right, shifting gear a little bit. At Practice Pro, which is the risk management division of LawPro, one common question we get, and we got this question even yesterday, is what happens when I report? And we'll get lawyers who've been practicing for 25 years, and they're like, I've never had a claim. I think I have a claim, or at least someone's alleging I've made a mistake. What do I do now? What physically happens when I report? So before that, let's just talk about when you have to report. So one, if you get a claim, you absolutely have to report. I think that's obvious to everyone, though there are lawyers that don't report. I'm not sure why. But aside from the obvious, if your client has alleged you've made a mistake, then you have an obligation under the policy to report. It triggers your reporting obligations. The ones that are trickier to understand is if you ask to be a witness or produce your file. And this one gets tricky. And this is where you have to evaluate, is this going to lead to a claim? And if it is, report. Or if you're not sure, you can call Practice Pro. There's only a handful of us that get those calls, and we're happy to talk it through with you. We cannot give you legal advice, but we can talk it through with you. And otherwise, err on the side of caution and report. Reporting does not trigger your deductible. I think a common question is, when is the deductible triggered? 50% of the deductible is triggered when there's a statement of defense or responding materials filed. That's the first point. And the claims history levy surcharge, so that's a long word for when your premium goes up for 5 years, and yes, it's very costly, is when there's an indemnity payment that's been made. Now I'm simplifying a little bit, but I think you get the point. So let me just go back for a second. When you report, there is our claims coordinator that looks through it, assigns a claims counsel that is specific to that area of law, and the claims counsel reviews what you have submitted, usually in an electronic form, and then will call you to discuss the matter, get more information, and decide where do we go from here. Maybe it's just an allegation, it'll go nowhere, in which case we'll just keep the file open and watch it. Maybe there is a repair that needs to be done, right? Correcting an error, that's maybe easily correctable or maybe not. And it's possible the lawyer knows how to correct it, in which case you can say in your submission to LawPro when you report, I think I know how to correct this. I missed the deadline, I can file a motion, here's a draft of my motion that I want to file in court. And claims counsel will look at it and say, okay, yep, this looks good, or let's edit it and make it better. Or it could be something like a will error, and lawyer says, I know how to fix this. I'm going to call my client in, have them re-sign. Okay, fine, go ahead. In which case, afterwards, the file closes. So, 56%, sorry, I can't see from here. 56% of claims close with defense costs only. If you look at the last number, 32% close without any payment. It's only 12% where there's an indemnity payment. So this fear of not reporting because I'm going to be on some red flag, we actually had some good questions yesterday, and I think we get these from junior lawyers too. Like, will my employer find out? Will my clients find out? Are you going to report me to the Law Society? Like, all of these questions come up regularly. Actually, even by experienced lawyers, we get these questions. So it's only 12% that are closed with indemnity payments. All right, shifting gear a little bit. Let's talk about Title Plus. So one common question we get is, why does the insurance company own a title insurance company? It's a good question. Title Plus was born from being an alternative to U.S. title insurance companies. Now, I don't know, in the U.S., title insurance companies close the day-to-day transactions. The real estate lawyers are not involved. And it was suggested that that could be done here in Canada, which was shut down. So the real estate lawyers in the room, I'm sure, are happy about that. One of the things that Title Plus insurance policy offers is a legal services coverage. And the great part about that is because the title insurance policy pays for it, it helps keep the premiums low for the primary policy. And because the legal services coverage is included, it means that there's no deductible that's triggered for the lawyer under the primary LAWPRO policy, and therefore no claims history levy surcharge. We have Shauna outside at the Title Plus table. If you have questions, please ask her. I think she's here for the rest of the day, or maybe she's left, but she'll be back tomorrow. Ask her. And you can ask, like, how is Title Plus different from Stewart Title or Chicago Title or some of the other companies? All right, some concerns. I have my notes on the phone, and I realize that as I get older, this doesn't work. It's really a problem. All right. All right. Okay. So fraud. We talk about fraud a lot. I think you heard me in spring plenary 2024 talk about fraud, social engineering. So fraud has increased since 2017. There's some stats up there. You can see how much it costs. There's all sorts of types of fraud. Now, apart from like fraud that we get targeted for, just an FYI, when you see those QR codes and you take out your phone and you click on the link, where are you clicking? Like in your hotel room right now, if you go up and you want to order in, there's a QR code. That's fine, that's pretty safe. Right? The hotel's not gonna fish you into clicking somewhere. But imagine you're walking around Ottawa, maybe in the market, and you see a poster and it has a QR code. Be careful about where you're clicking. You might be giving access to somebody with your phone. I tell my kids that, stop walking around the city clicking everywhere. So phishing is when somebody tricks you or tries to trick you into doing something you generally wouldn't do. It's a form of social engineering fraud. So transferring money to someone that you wouldn't, a threat actor, a fraudster, or giving out confidential information. Real estate is where most of the target for fraud takes place, for obvious reasons. There's a lot of money going in and out regularly and quickly and fast. Oh, sorry, before we go to administrative dismissals. Last week or the week before, I saw a claim report. It's a very simple story, if I have time, yeah. Basically, the real estate law firm got a payout statement. So it's from a bank that says this is how much money that needs to be paid out for a mortgage. No big deal, regular stuff. And it had the banking information of where the money needs to be wired. And the clerk saw that it looked different, but thought nothing of it. So they went ahead and wired the money, and that payout statement was manipulated. It was not actually from the bank. So $400,000 just poof, gone. So that's an example of social engineering. So check where it's coming from, trust your gut, don't click anywhere or everywhere, and call, pick up the phone and call, and this has been a campaign LawPro's been running for a long time, is call before you click. Administrative dismissals. So we know that there was a suspension period for timelines during COVID for about 6 months. The suspension period was lifted, but the courts were not issuing administrative dismissals till May 13th, 2024, last year. So what we have seen, as I just want to give you some numbers, for administrative dismissal claims, in 2024, there were 244 claims, and as of June this year, there were 153. That's of June, so less than half the year. So we suspect by the end of the year, say we double, that will be about 300 claims. In 2015, when Rule 48.14 was introduced, over a span of 3 years, oh wow, we will have to talk about that, but we'll get there in a second. In a span of 3 years, the claims resulted in $10 million being paid out. So that was a cost when Rule 48.14 was introduced in 2015. Now, we're not saying that because, and that'll be the same now, but it's something we have to be aware of, and we talked about those soft skills, calendaring, responding to calendar, having a good way to hand over files, because it's a long time. Maybe lawyers have changed, maybe law firms have changed. So real estate being the leading area of claims, the leading reasons for claims in real estate is communication, so those soft skills. Being able to communicate in a simple way to your client, ask questions, and not assuming they understand everything. And then inadequate investigation. Asking more questions. Your client says they want to build a pool. Have you looked at the restrictions in the backyard to build that pool? They say their water heater is rented. Have you done a PPSA search? Wow, this really wants to make me talk faster and move forward. Okay. Wellness is really important. If you don't take care of yourself now, you will be forced to address the problem later, and it's going to be costly and very, very stressful. This is a snippet taken from a study that was done across Canada. It's 380 pages. This is phase 1. And you'll see that there's some very goosebumpy stats here. Like if you look at the far right, in the corner, 25% of legal professionals across Canada have suicidal ideations. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I'm not sure what does. That's terrifying. So why us? Why is our mental health not well? So there's an American stat that says lawyers are 3.8 times more unlikely to suffer from depression than any other profession. I think dentists beat us. Leanna laughed about this because she's like, dentists look at mouths, it's easy, but I'm sure they have a lot of stress too. But 3.8 times more likely to suffer from depression than any other professions. So why us? I mean, you can read what's on the slide. We work a lot of hours. We take on stress of our clients. We check our phone all the time. When we're on vacation, we're having dinner. Suddenly a client's emailed, it's really urgent, and you're like, crap, I need to respond to this urgently. The work-life balance is sometimes difficult. And the bottom one, pessimistic thinking. We're really good at figuring out what are the issues in this contract? How do we make it airtight? How do we come up with all the things the opposing counsel might say and come up with every defense possible under the sun? It makes us good legal professionals, but it can lead to anxiety and depression because our brain doesn't turn off. We're constantly thinking about it. So how does this tie to claims? And what we see at LawPro, this is not theoretical, this is real life, we see it, is when lawyers are not doing well, they drop the ball. And once they drop the ball in one file, it's easy to drop the ball in another. They've missed a deadline, client has called, but you don't want to call the client, it's embarrassing to tell them, and that continues. And suddenly they're calling LawPro to file a claim for not just one file, but multiple files all at once. And this is what I meant by if you don't take care of your mental health now, and physical health too, you'll be forced to deal with it after. So there's some tips, and I think part of this tip is like being the example, and then being an example for others, like junior lawyers. So MAP, I think most of you know about MAP, but somehow it doesn't get used enough. It's funded by the Law Society and LawPro. It's fully confidential. It offers lifestyle coaching, peer-to-peer support, and counseling by professional counselors, and a bunch of other resources that are available. Okay, quick update from Practice Pro. I know we're probably short on time. So Practice Pro is the risk management division of LawPro. We have various information on our website, and then practice aids like checklists and precedents, retainer letters. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then we have education seminars, CPD programs. So we do 4 to 6 virtually that we host ourselves in conjunction with the Toronto Lawyers Association, but free and available to all Ontario lawyers, and then posted on our website so you can view at your own convenience. We try to focus on area of law, and then also just generally that would be applicable to all lawyers across Ontario. And this year we are doing a road show, so we're physically on the road. We went up to Thunder Bay as a first place, then we went to London, and December 2nd we will be in Mississauga. So Peel and Halton, I encourage you and your members to come out. And then December 3rd we'll be in Markham, so York Region and surrounding areas. It's a 6.5-hour program. You get a $100 risk management credit towards the following year's premiums and 3.5 hours of professionalism hours. We'll be continuing this in 2026. So if you think this would be great for us to come out, for LawPro to come out to your region, please come find me or come find Leanne and talk to us. You know, it's always hard figuring out where do we go. I know Windsor has, there's a couple of people for Windsor that's invited us there, so please come find us and talk to us. We've updated our Ontario's mentorship programs, so please take a look at that. The technology products for law firms and lawyers. We've added an undertaking checklist. So we get a lot of questions about undertakings, and then there is a scary story to read about a law firm that was targeted for cybercrime. That's it. Please stay in touch. Thank you.